Julius, he was a hard-working man, always cleaning his yard, planting some vegetables. He's a cool, calm and collected young man.
He didn't look like he was aware of the impact that his actions had.
If ever somebody can say this person is alleged to have killed 5 people, you might deny that.
I've just learned with all the cases that I've worked on that you can get the nicest people doing the most horrible things.
Being in that courtroom with many other people, I was scared of him.
A man who gave his neighbors his vegetables when they were ready, a man who they could always send out to the shop, and a guy who was always sitting in his front stool doing his laundry. Seeing 5 bodies being exhumed in his yard was enough proof that they had been living next to a monster. How is it that their 5 children went to visit this man and never came home?
Abanye lebeka umntwana lolungile nje bese kubukelela ikusasa lakhe lelinhle ngoba lo mnyaka lona ngabe uya grade 12 manje bese bukelela ikusasa lelinhle kuye ngoba vele bekumntwana lo bese buke ukuthi samkhulisa nje ngoba vele bekamncane
ena bright esikoleni
a bright esikoleni kunguye lo letinye izinto nguye lo bekabonisa bosesi wakhe
bana umntwana lo bekaphethe kahle angabhayisi angathanzi ukukhuluma hlala athulile angacala umuntu ukude umuntu lozo uvuka abanele kumbe sesiyalo ngoba abanele lokho abanele wente lokho cha mina ngikasa ngakufa ehlala into lokuhle ngaso sonke isikhathi mina hlana nami kwami noJulius bengisekuthwaseni ngithwasa kamamkhulu wakhe usesi wakhe mntwana wamamkhulu makwagobela wami nama kwaJulius ngibosesi nasisi bantu abamake munye nobabe lo yi1 engamate lapho Julius kwahamba amalanga mina Julius sagcina sesidate
banele ukuthi ahlangane noJulius kusho ukuthi bafonela sesi wakhe bathi kunemgidi afonela ngiseswa Julius bathi kunemgidi le eNumbe
ngifonela la ekhaya ngithi mina ke ngiqala sidwaba bona badele wagibela waletha sidwaba wafika wangithola wanginiketa sidwaba kaJulius ngafika lapha Julius amnika 200 rand nami 200 rand uthi hamba uthenga la tshwala uthenga nalokuthi ufuna ukudla lo ngoba ulambile wathi Julius hayi sibala asihlaleni usitohamba musisiya kubona sesakho kuphi emadlotini sambeni sonke
wafona sesiwakhe wathi hayi banele uTobiya kusasa washo naye lo Julius ukuthi hayi uphephile umuntu mbhasopa sekuseni sesiwakho nakathi ufuna umntwana angithubuta yena lo Julius ukuthi hey umntwana ukuphi ubuta nalabanye njengasekugideni ngeke ngala uyagida ngala ugade umntwana uthembe ukuthi laba bamadi batombhasopa njengoba vele ashito naye lo Julius ukuthi utombhasopa Julius uthi hayi ngumshiye phansi kwesihlahla.
After realizing that no one had seen her sister since the night before, Bonisile headed straight to the police station to file a missing persons report.
Ngesikhathi babita Julius maphoyisa abita Julius phambuta kuJulius ukuthi watini mayelana nemntwana so bababita boyithuna Bonisile bathi watini mayelana nemntwana ngibonisile lathi lo mntwana ngayendeka ukuthi umthengisele eManajeri
ukuthi mina ngithengise umntwana dokoma Nigeria and ukhuluma unesibizi sokuthi ubonisiwe uthengise umfana dokoma Nigeria mina ngiyamathi.
After the police questioned Julius, Bonisile was arrested on suspicion of human trafficking. Eventually, after being released, she went back to Julius's house to confront him about the allegations he had made against her.
Bengile khaya lakhe mina. Nangile khaya lakhe uphumile wahamba ngishiya ngisendlini mina. Nakafika lapha endlini uyaqala uvala le bhatla ngenkani yabona sukhipha amaplate ushanga amaplate yabo uyaphoseta amaplate ngase mina ngile nawo uvela nje ukhuluma into leti ngavisiseki ushanga tibhakela uqeda uthatha amakhiyi waphosa etulu kunalapha bekayinto kwasigezela khona wabeka etulu thatha ngadosa nangithi ngithiwa nginamakhiya ngavula libhadla ngaphuma ngabaleka ngalanza lomunye ndombatani nalomunye mfana nalenye imoto khona ngalapha bangithatha bata kutonke ehlisa ekhala ngangena ekhaya ngangifela ekhaya ngakhuluma lutho ngathi mina ayisengibuyile ngitshela mama ngafika ngalala ntsambama weda naketa nakhona utangeke nyonyoba lokuthi ubonwa ngimama uthi mama hey ngwebani yabona mama kade lutho ngisho uthi hayi mfana wami ngena basukhona ungalapha uyangena ngena ngalapha kube ngaphambe emutshisa ngoba bekayenda nacatha uthini ngicela ungene njani ungikhiphele gate ngesibili hayi angihambi nathi ngimkhiphele gate nangifika lapha etule esitolo ebhongo uyangibamba yashaya ngiyamemeta shothi bantu kube mama njani mama uyaphuma lanzela bathi hey mfana wakho uyafa ngala nafika ngalana uyangikhulisa sohamba ngani nami ngengani uyangikhulisa nasifika letule ehlathini esikolweni ngivala umlomo wathatha bukho kwaza ngale bofakala wacatha wabaleka sinasifika ekhaya sithola abantwana bahleli indlu iyasha
talking ngiseswami umuntu lo bekangathanzi kukhuluma nje kuhlangana kwakhe no Julius mina bengathi nami ngacakeka vele ukuthi ahlangana kanjani vele bengathi vele na uJulius bengamathi.
According to reports, Doki Tlaka met Julius on Facebook, where they allegedly decided to meet for a sexual encounter.
Lila anyama ngalo ni ngoba ngafona ngamthola ifona xa maybe uchintshisa emkhadi ngoba unokutshintsha vele masemkhadi kubo kumbe ifoni yakhe off ngahlala ngabinzisa ngathi ngidomfola enye ilanga ngafona enye ilanga futhi naye sekafuna namndo mfana mama mncane afuna yena naye umangele ukuthi ngoba usayamfuna ifoni nangamthola sile ngilokhu sikhanse ngisukuma mina bengahlali naye vele bengihlala ebukatini sengihamba ngiya ekhaya ngifika ekhaya ngithola umuntu la ngathi sonyamale usikhathi ngoba ngifika lapha ngibona kudlala iTV la indingi nedust enamanzi ageze ngabe angakawachithanga impahla lengibute abantu ukuthi bekagcwele tinjani before inyamalala bathi bekade igcwele ngithole etule embedeni shothi ifike wajinja lebegcwele ngaba senga go report emaphoyiseni ukuthi dokunyamalele.
Doki then went missing. The family became concerned about that, hence they then approached police to say Doki is missing. But then she was 23. We spoke to the community through a media statement and the radio stations as well as, newspapers to say that we've got this particular person was reported as missing. Now, spiraling from that, some people also came forth, 2 families came forth to report that in 2018, they had people that they reported as missing.
Saya emaphoyiseni ngamisa ibox lefoni yakhe. Ibox lefoni yakhe beka-77. Ngafika ngabanika ngilokubenda kuna bathatha lama-MI number boseshaseleni kwabuya ama-results.
When we investigated this matter, our investigations, led us to Julius Mndawe. When we questioned him about these people that were, alleged to have been, missing by their time, one of them a 15-year-old girl, we then, uncovered from him that he knew about those people. He led us to the area in his house where he buried them. And voluntarily, that's when then he came forth to say, yes, you've got the 3, I've got another 2.
All those requirements you need to check and make sure that the person that's before court has committed the crime. I can make a confession, but maybe I was crazy at the time I made that confession. Maybe I was under the influence of whatever, and I wasn't by my full senses and I made this confession. So that is now the dangers of these things if one doesn't follow the procedures and just say, you've made a confession and we're going to work with that confession and say, you are guilty of the offense and we sentence you to the appropriate sentence that goes with that crime that you allegedly committed.
Allegedly, there were 5 bodies buried in his vegetable garden.
Right in his home, we exhumed 5 bodies.
Ngesikhathi sesifonela ngibaba emnisi asinoma singa umntwana wakho sesimtholile.
I got to know about the story through a police contact of mine. I actually never met him. I saw him at an appearance in court once. He strikes me as someone who did what he did because he wanted to.
During his confession, Julius divulged more details about the alleged crimes.
In 2018, he killed 4 of these women, 4 of them, only in a split of months, but the year 2018. Then Toki was killed in 2019.
Despite Julius's confession, the police continued with the investigation into the murders. Due to the high body count, the investigation needs to prove that all deaths might be linked to the same killer.
Serial murders in South Africa tend to be around about the age of 29. It's quite common. They tend to have sort of at best mid-high school level education. That is quite common. But typically South African serial murderers are approaching strangers, offering them a job, luring them to a secluded place out in the veld, and then killing them and then leaving them out in the veld.
Bekubukeka njengemuntu omubi wangibopha amavimbela athengeni ngithengisa mfanetuko mana ijeri ingivise kakhulu ubuhlungu le nto leyo ngamadi Julius afika ahlale phambi kwakhe nangu sesoyi-2 appointe mina athi wena uyamati lo vela kathi lutho lo wena nguwe sesiwakhe lo matiku babecatha mntwana aphike lokuthi vele nakathi lutho ngabanele acathe bayokuvundulula mfana ekhaya lakhe mntwana akithi aphume ejardini lakhe futhi nokuba bangamela umele waliphoyisa akathi lutho lo wathi lutho nguwe
Ngicwabe kwemathambonyana lokungaka kuthi inhloko lokhu akubonakali nethi kubonakala nyana kancane kuthi likude linyawo nethi so bafake nyana letuke leplastic
nani
sewena bakulethele umntwana wakho ngeliplastic lelingaka mara umathi umntwana akho amkhulu asidudla wena ungathini ngakuthemba kahle lokho sesiyakuthemba vele ngoba vele sekuyendekile
hayi usilimatile emoyeni
They feel let down because they did say that, look into this. Please just look into this. And they feel like no one listened.
We've got only 3 currently that have been positively identified and they have been buried already. We're still running short of 2. Our systems within the country could not bear fruit in terms of linking those deceased as well as the family members, or should I say paternity test, did not yield positive results. That is not all doom and gloom. We have spoken to our counterpart, Switzerland to be precise, their remains have been sent to that country because they've got kind of like advanced equipment that can assist us.
I cannot tell you in how many serial murder cases. In fact, I think it's about 1/3 of serial murder victims that are not identified. We've had many series prosecuted where the victims were found in a general geographical area, not even just in the person's garden. Here we have them all being found on the premises of the suspect. I mean, you could not ask for a bigger arrow pointing to one person. So the identity of the victim should not be a reason not to prosecute.
La kithi la mina ngwabona ma-outcome mfana ke sisingcwabe lithabu into lekafiki ne-10 litre into lekabonakali yena ubhizi uyadla yena lakhona khona lapthodakana outcome akanani engananzaba bathatha yena bayakubulala yena yi-1 mina kungekho.
I saw Julius myself. You can't even believe that he has done this. Quiet. Like I'm saying that even though now you can go to court when he's appearing, and I point to you that this is Julius, you're not going to believe. And according to the community, because we spoke to them, he was a hard-working man, always cleaning his yard, planting some vegetables. He was not a man who was going out, getting lost or, bringing friends and making noise. He was just a quiet person.
Almost all the serial murderers I have met were not what you expect. I've just learned with all the cases that I've worked on that you can get the nicest people doing the most horrible things.
The community was so outraged that they set Julius's home alight, an action that allegedly had an impact on the police investigation.
We investigated within his, property, and we discovered that cell phone. We've got it in our books as an exhibit. Now, some of the things we were disturbed by the community because they set alight his house. Could have been that maybe if the house was not set alight, we might have maybe recovered some of the exhibits inside. They knew that police are busy with this case, but they decided to go and set alight that house, knowing exactly that we are still busy with our investigations.
Ngoba nambe ngifisa kwathi ukuthi labantu bayenda njani before ayobaceba. Kendaga lapha unetindo lebeka bayabulala ngato. Selabana bale bofika boshisa. Senami ngabashoko.
He said that after what he terms having sex with them, they would come back for money. So he just killed them.
Well, some of them, he hit them with a blunt object. Some of them, he drowned them. And also strangling some. So he utilizes 3 ways of taking their lives. Like the 15-year-old, he was not in a relationship with that 15-year-old, but he was in a relationship with his sister. And this particular one, the 15-year-old, as well as Taki, he told us he raped them. But then he exonerated himself on the other 3.
My heart breaks for them, especially the immediate neighbours, because Masoi is a poverty-stricken area. It's rural, yes. So the people they have each other, like you would expect in a community like that. And I think he betrayed that trust, but more than anything, I think there's a trauma that they're going to live with for a very long time.
Ngikhumbula smile sakhe.
Umntwana ngese bangathaza kuhleka ngaso sonke isikhathi.
Futhi nakutholakala kusenyalo bantwana bafunza bo standard 10 lo yanaye bekumele ukuthi ngabe ufunza 10 besibukela ikusasa lelinhle ukuthi kumbe utogwabula lokho ngoba bekasho ukuthi ngidoni yakhela likhali elinhle futhi yena bekatshela ukuthi ufuna kufundzela kuba yipilot ngithi mina ngitothengisathi ingomo la ngikhona ukuqhubekisela phambili manje kwatholakala ukuthi yena Julius nguyele uvele ngikhala ngaye